Hey everybody, hope you are doing well. It is Monday, the 18th of May, and hope that you and your family are doing well in these challenging times. It has not been easy for anybody, and I hope you're finding the time to take care of yourselves. This is incredibly important time to share your feelings and make sure that you're taking care of your mental, emotional health as well, and keeping yourselves really in a high energy state through what you're eating, reading, sleeping, getting checked and adjusted, of course. So tonight's training is going to be one of the most important for you to really digest. This information is the culmination of 18 years of experience and in communications. And I can certainly tell you that I was not a master of communications when I began. Certainly far from it. And so I've learned over the years through many mentors, many different individuals that have come to my life through own personal experience, how to communicate in a way that's going to help people say yes to chiropractic. And I can share, at least a 90% plus conversion rate over the last few years. We do really, really well with converting people. So there's a couple of reasons why. One, we do a whole heck of a lot of pre-qualification, right, through workshops. Now, what I noticed, though, is that depending upon where doctors are in their career and their experience with communication, I've been finding that some of you are having a lot of challenges even with converting these new patients, these leads. So we're going to talk a lot about tonight the key differences with these people. I went and identified 20 different archetypes, 20 different types of people that come to the workshops, and also some that aren't from workshops, just to help you on that side of things as well with communication, give you some great tips there. I'm also really excited because we are coming into June and we're going to be opening up, okay? I've been recommending that you all begin to do live in-person workshops once again. We had doctors in Las Vegas, Nevada do their first in-person workshop on May 2nd, and it did really well. They were able to schedule 3 new patients from that. So we are recommending you open up. So if you haven't already scheduled your June ones and scheduled them to be live and in person, then please make sure you do so. And we won't be going into it in depth here, but we're recommending a strategy where you do the in-person for a limited number of people, and then also have a webinar option available after the fact, or you can live stream your event. So we'll talk more about that in other communications here. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm gonna share my screen here. One second. Here we go. And let's see. Can you guys see my screen? Marilyn, can you see that?
Yes, I don't know. Can you hear? I'm trying to do a thumbs up for you. Okay. There you go. Yes.
Cool. All right. So let's dive in here. Tonight's training, we're going to talk about these are the key attributes or key things that we need to know to really get great at day 1 and day 2 and convert as many people as possible. And the number one thing is mindset and attributes. Okay, we're going to talk about that in just a second. I mentioned the 20 new patient archetypes, and then critical points about day 1 and day 2 that will really simplify things. Nicole Meyer today, she shared in the group how she had been struggling with conversions. And we got on a phone call on Friday and talked about it, I went through some of her new patient kind of care plan recommendation forms. And she messaged me this morning saying that she sold, she was able to convert that new patient today from one of her webinars. And she said she completely scrapped what she had been doing and adopted the methods that I'm going to be talking about tonight. So let's dive into this. Here's the thing. You can be the best chiropractor in the world on a clinical level, but people don't buy your service, they buy your passion. This is absolutely the truth of any any service provider, any professional, they're buying you. Okay, they're buying your certainty. They're buying, and the more that we can give ourselves over to the bigness of the mission and vision, and let that propel us and fuel us, people get caught up in that, and they feel that. They see the bigness of it. They see that it's so much more than you wanting to separate them from their hard-earned money. They feel the passion. It is exuded through your voice and body language. And so keep diving into and embracing the mission and vision, because it's much bigger than each and every one of us. And when you give yourself over to that, you will absolutely see an increase in conversion just with that alone, and also with your public speaking. Your public speaking will improve when you give yourself over to that more and more. The other thing people are buying is they're buying your certainty. And so I can't give you certainty. However, I can encourage you to ask yourself certain questions. And one of the most important questions is, what are you promising? What is the brand promise? What is it that you are selling to these people? What is this promise that you are giving them? And I can tell you this, that if your promise is the treatment of any of their diseases or conditions, you will never have certainty. Certainly, there is no certainty in that. That is the practice of medicine, and this is why they have no certainty, right? Your certainty and our brand promise is the detection and correction of vertebral subluxations, removing interference, allowing for that body to have an opportunity for healthier life and restoration and all these things. That's the promise. I'm going to, and this is, I've shared this many times before. I encourage you to adopt this. Look, Mary. Like, I don't know what the changes are going to be. I don't know exactly what the results are going to be, but I do know this, right? That's when you use a dramatic pause, right? And that's where the certainty comes from. And you better be looking that person in the eye as you're sharing that. Now, I can't give you that certainty. If you don't feel that that's a big enough promise to give people the opportunity for optimal health, healing, and restoration, then I encourage you to ask yourself another question. And that question is this: do you believe that vertebral subluxation squashes health and human potential? Okay, because I did not believe that years ago. I thought I did, but it was a superficial level. Until you really own that, subluxation distorts and destroys lives and distorts the brain trajectory and squashes human potential. Until you really own that and understand it. And guys, the material, the information in the presentations is all there for you. And that's the other thing. Don't just, I hope you are reading the papers and diving deeper into the research that you're presenting, right? And not just sharing slides that you don't have certainty behind, right? That's the other way to lose certainty, if you don't really know what you're selling because you haven't done your due diligence. So what are you promising, right? So make sure you find that certainty in chiropractic. Authenticity and vulnerability. You hear me talking about that a lot. People, that's what they want. They want authenticity. They don't want a perfect doctor. They want to see that you're a real person just like them. So sharing your authentic self with them, not trying to hide anything in terms of any weaknesses. And like today, I was giving a Facebook Live and I was sharing, and I was tearing up as I was sharing about the gratitude, how much gratitude I have for all these families that I had the opportunity to serve over the years. And a lot of people might say, oh, well, look at Steve, he's weak or whatever. As long as you're attached to your ego and allow other people's opinions to guide your actions to any degree, especially in your office, then people will always have a sense that you're hiding something. Empathy and humility, really refine your ability to empathize with people and feel their pain. Understand, just feel the bigness of the struggles that they're having, and then humbling yourself to the power within their body, not making it about you, continue humbling yourself to this bigger thing inside of them that's doing all the healing, and giving all that power to them and not taking the credit for that. And in that, all of this being that specialist, not the specialist of the medical profession, the one who talks down to people, the one who makes people wait forever, the one who is cold and aloof, but you're the specialist that has all these other qualities. And guys, when you combine all those things and that level of certainty, people will just say yes without you having to coerce them. If you're feeling that people don't have the money, if you're feeling that people are giving you lots of excuses, I'm going to encourage you and challenge you, okay? Because I support you 100%, but in supporting, I have to challenge you as well. I'm going to challenge you that if you're getting those types of statements a lot, it has more to do with your own internal dialogue than it does, and or what you're communicating or lack of communicating to people, okay? That's where those types of statements come from, okay? Now, is it all the time? No. Certainly, there's times where people don't have the finances. And certainly in times like this, there's bigger struggles and challenges. However, people can and do find the money and ways and means to pay for services when they understand the extreme value and then they believe that you can produce changes in their lives that you can create. And that's where leading the way for these people is critical. Now, this doesn't apply to all of you. Some of you are extroverts. Some of you have always been leaders. Maybe you were the captain of your high school sports team. Maybe you were the president of the school student body. Maybe you've always been a leader. However, many of us, that is not who we were, and so we have to. If subluxation squashes human potential, if you want to provide for an amazing lifestyle for your family and be paid what you deserve and get this chiropractic message to the masses, then we have to become the leader that you never wanted to be, but you must become. And so take a deep breath into that. Okay, take a deep breath into why you're even watching this right now. Why even decide to step out and speak publicly more and more? Is it only to get new patients, or is it because you know that you can and should be reaching more people? So these are the mindsets and attributes we have to bring to the table to our practices and to the people in our communities. Okay, that's number one. That's the before anything else. That's before the system, scripts, and procedures. Now tonight we're going to talk about system, scripts, and procedures, but I'm not going to tell you what to say line by line. Okay, I think that's ridiculous. I'm going to help share the different types of people that you're going to encounter and different ways to engage them and communicate, and share many tips and strategies that have worked for me, but you're also not me. And so you will need to look at, okay, well, how would I communicate with this person, right? Just because it's the way I do it one way doesn't mean it's the way that you have to do it. However, we're going to be sharing some really important tips and strategies on how to connect with these people. So here are the 20 new patient archetypes that you must know. Okay, I divide them into 3 categories. Number 1 is the workshop/webinar new patients. Okay, what I realized in helping docs in the program is that some of you, have always had a subluxation nervous system based vitalistic type practice. Okay, and so for some of you, it may not be as big a transition. For others, your practice is attracted, like the majority of practices, mostly musculoskeletal cases, low back pain, neck pain patients, people who don't really know what chiropractic is. They haven't been to a workshop. They don't have all the benefits of the workshop webinar new patient. Okay, so it is a very different way to communicate with these people. Okay, because these are not the typical patients that enter most chiropractic offices. They used to be that. This is the type of people that used to enter offices all the time, but our profession got sidetracked. So we're going to talk a lot about them. Hey, welcome, Nicole. We're going to be talking about the next person group is the referral of new patients, those patients that have been referred to your office. And then the third group is those people that found you through Google, Yelp, or maybe different musculoskeletal lead sources like search engine optimization, maybe a Facebook lead ad or something else that you're doing that's still generating those types of patients. The key thing in all of this is, and what I want us to think about is the words we use, our body language, and especially our energy, and understanding what type of energy these people are presenting with, okay, what type of personalities, because we have to learn how to match and communicate with them, not changing you and becoming a chameleon to meet their what they want you to be, but communicating in a way that values their communicative style and values their energetic state and where they are at. Okay, that's what I'm talking about here. So before we talk about those 20 people, here's what we need to think about for all of these people. Number one is be prepared, okay? I highly encourage you, if you haven't already implemented this, make sure you're getting intake forms before people even step into your office. You know, we have offered our intake forms. We use Google Forms. My office uses Google Forms. All of you have had that opportunity. We've made that offer. If you haven't taken advantage of it, let Jamie know you would like our new patient intake forms, pediatric and adult intake forms, and we'll make you a copy of that, and then you'll have that. And then you can edit it to put your office name, logo, all that different stuff in there, and you can change any questions you want. But the reason I want that, one, I don't want people filling out forms in my office. I don't want to create that disconnect, okay, that immediately interferes with the positive energy and flow, and it creates stagnation, and it creates a disconnect. Okay, the people come in and then they have to sit and they have to fill out a form, and that's not what I want at all. I want people to come in. I want to engage them. I want them to feel warm and welcome, and I already want to know what they are experiencing in their life, right? If it's a workshop patient, you should already know. There's a good chance you know a lot about this, because there's a good chance that they actually talk to you at the end of the workshop if it was in person. Okay, so we want to read through that form. And as you're reading through that form and looking at it, that either that morning or the day before, whenever you do it, empathize. Like, get connected to what they are experiencing, what it must feel like to have these challenges. Okay. Because the more you can do that, the more people feel heard and understand that you really get them and see it through your body language and your eyes and your tone. That's when they know they're in the right place, right? So, and be ready for the bigness of this, right? There's so much on the line, right now for that person's future, for their family's future, right? Just for, number one, saving that individual's life, depending upon what's going on health-wise. But think about what it means when a whole family has chiropractic introduced into their lives. The whole generational line is transformed. This is a big moment. So be ready, right? That way you can be focused on that connection and building rapport and being in a heart space. When you are not prepared, when you don't know this person, then you're going to be more in your mind than your heart. Okay, so number one is be prepared. Number two is remember the purpose of day one. The purpose of day one is discovery. Okay, you're a detective. You need to use your eyes, ears, your intuition, and then the objective findings, your scanning technology, your x-ray, whatever it is you're using to give you certainty in detecting vertebral subluxation and the degree of nervous system interference. Like, this is what day one is all about. Here's what you're probably doing though. You're probably spending way too much time on the history. You're probably going through and asking way too many questions. Okay, this is very, very likely. That is setting the tone. If you're asking them all sorts of questions about, how many bowel movements a day, to reviewing the systems like the OPQRST, going through it like one by one, then you're making it more about what they've already experienced, and setting the expectations that you are now going to treat their disease and symptoms versus centering the whole conversation around what you want to do next is find out. Like, this is why if this is a webinar and workshop person, the whole reason they're scheduling the appointment is because they want to find out. They're excited. They want to find out if they're subluxated and to what degree. Like, you've already done all the work. Now you should get as much information as possible in the intake forms, and then ask a few questions. It's more about, and we'll go into that in a second, it's more about just learning a little bit more about them, developing rapport, getting some answers, answered about the case, that you might need, and also maybe some ideas about what else they may need, maybe some other, if there's any contraindications, or if there's any other providers that you're thinking down the road that they may need as well. Like, you're thinking maybe it's collaboration, and if it's a deeper, more intense case. And I said down the road. I'm not saying refer them out immediately, but you're just thinking in the back of your mind, well, maybe they got gut brain issues and they need to do some other stuff there too, right? You have that in the back of your mind. And you're also trying to discover what objections they may have and how committed they are, what degree of, and you get that through their tone, their body language, their words. That's where you're really using your eyes and ears to determine those types of things. So let's dive into these archetypal people here, okay? I've given them all names, so that we can easily remember them, and also so you can kind of picture these people, okay? When the next time, and what I'll do is I'll get a printout of this so you guys can see, okay, who is it? Where does this person fall into these different categories? And I'd love to hear your input on what you think about this. So these next ones are going to be NDD patients. So this is an NDD parent. This is Hopeful Hannah. Hopeful Hannah came to your workshop or webinar, and she's really hopeful. She's like, wow, this is so great. Her eyes are wide open, when she's talking to you. I can't believe it, doctor. Wow, I never knew. These are the types of things she's saying. I can't, I really think you can help my son. This is Hopeful Hannah. She's had no hope. You just flipped it for her. Now she has hope. The last thing you want to do is kill that momentum, okay? Because she had no hope before. Now you need to be the rock and continue the momentum for her and keep her hopeful. And so when Hannah comes in, it's, hey, Hannah, welcome back. We're so glad you're here today. I can't wait to get started. Hey, welcome, Johnny. So good to see you. This is how you engage with Hopeful Hannah. Right, you high energy, keep the tone and energy flowing, keep the process flowing. Let's Claire, come on back. Let's go into my office. Let's sit down and we'll chat a little bit more, about Johnny, so I can find out just a little bit more information. I already have a good idea about what's going on with his case because I've gone through all his, the intake forms. But let's chat a little bit, and then right after that, we're going to get his scan started so we can see what's going on here. Right? Remember, it's all about discovery. See what's going on here. It's about the discovery process. It's not about them, you just listening to every little minute detail that's not applicable to your chiropractic management of their case. So that's Hopeful Hannah. And we're going to go through the people, and then we'll go into day 2 and how we communicate the care plan portion of this as well. So the next NDD archetype is Lukewarm Lucy. Now, Lukewarm Lucy also came to your workshop, but her energy is different. Okay, you're going to notice this person. She may or may not have come up to you at the workshop. She's going to be more reserved. Her energy is going to be more down. So you're going to see, you can ask, when you're asking questions of these people, say, hey, Lucy, just wondering, what's your biggest takeaway from the workshop? Now, if you ask that question of Hopeful Hannah's going to say, oh man, I was blown away with the information. I just never knew. Those are things that are going to come out of Hopeful Hannah's mouth. Lukewarm Lucy is going to be, oh yeah, it was good. There was. I didn't realize how much the gut impacted so the energy, the tone. It's not as much about the chiropractic piece of it. She's not totally. You can tell there's some skepticism, okay, but she wanted to. It was still strong enough to cause her to schedule an appointment. So So that's lukewarm Lucy. So we need to match her energy. We're not going to be in Lucy's face. Oh, welcome, Lucy. We're so glad you're here. So, hey, Lucy, I'm glad you're here today. Hey, in just a moment, we're going to go over more into Johnny's case and talk about, I've gone through his intake forms already, but I want to ask some more questions just to get a better picture of what's going on. And then we're going to go through and do the nervous system scan so we can see exactly what's going on with his case here. So notice the difference there is, in that case, you do want to spend more time with this person and give them a little bit more time and understanding more about what they want to share, and also so you can detect any different degrees of objections and commitment. Okay, these are the types of things you're looking for because so many times we pass. We collect the $200 without passing go. These people are not ready yet because we thought they were ready, but it's because we didn't understand exactly who this person was and the signs they were giving us. This next archetype is absolutely my favorite. This is when both parents come to the workshop and they both come in. This is we're ready, Rebecca and great dad Dave. Okay, these people are awesome. Like they want to do everything they can possibly do for their child. They are willing to, dad is taking off from work to be there for the appointment. He's supportive of mom. He's, these people are fantastic. What you want to do is not mess this up. Okay, they're ready to get started. You just need to, make them feel at ease, at home, that they're in the right place, and compliment dad. Okay, hey, and let dad know. Say and mom too, of course, but let dad know that hey, Dave, I just want to let you know that I'm so impressed that you're here today. A lot of times the dads, maybe they're not able to get away, or they're letting mom take care of all of the doctor's appointments and everything. So it's fantastic to see you here. And mom, I just want to let you know, I know how hard you are working, right? You compliment these people. Let them know. Let them feel the love and the empathy and understanding, right? So these people, they want to share their story. Many times the child has been vaccine injured, you'll find, because they have a higher level of education. Typically they are aware, they had already some awareness many times of what's going on in this whole neurodevelopmental world. And so now they're just thrilled that they've found a doctor who understands them and is ready to support them. Okay, so support these people. Hey, welcome, Jason. Glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So it's all being recorded, so this is going to be one you're going to watch a few times. So then right now we're talking about the different archetypes. We've gone through a couple. We're only on number 4. There's 20. So we're talking about day 1 right now, about who these people are and how to interact with them. And then we're going to talk about day 2 in the care plans in just a little bit.
Okay.
So Skeptical Sam, okay, this is an NDD parent. This Skeptical Sam is an ass. Okay. Not always. Skeptical Sam is skeptical. He's not so sure, he probably didn't come to the workshop. Maybe he did come to a workshop, but he's still not really sure about this whole thing. So here's what we really need to do with Skeptical Sam. We need to control the dialogue. We need to control the encounter through our energy and by not letting our ego get in the way. And what I mean by that is it's easy if you're allowing your ego to be involved in the patient care process. Remember, it's not about Sam and it's not about you, it's about that child. So what we need to do in this situation, Skeptical Sam, there's a good chance Skeptical Sam may insult you, okay? Either not really on purpose, right? He might say something, do something that's kind of just like, you can tell he doesn't really respect you, doesn't respect your authority, even in your own office, these types of things. He's looking off in the distance. He's not really engaged. So Skeptical Sam. We got to hook his attention and lead this conversation. This is where we have to lead, doctors. So, hey, Sam, hey, welcome to the office. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, tell me, what did Mary tell you about the workshop? If Sam didn't come, you want to find out more about what Sam heard from mom, okay? She might have told him a lot of great things. Maybe not. You need to find out. He may say something like, I'm not really sure how this is supposed to help. How's chiropractic, going to help my son? So this would be a way to handle that. Hey, Sam, I totally hear you. Most people that, think about chiropractic, they think it's about back pain, right? Well, here's the thing. In this office, we're looking at the nervous system. How much did Mary tell you about the class the other night? Did she talk much to you about that? Oh, no, okay. Well, and that's where, guys, you better have tools in your exam rooms, like the autonomic nervous system, a numeric chart, things like that, to point and show. Well, here's the thing: your spine houses and protect. This is where we do a mini chiropractic lecture. You are not. This is where you many times lose Sam when you try to convince Sam instead of assuming authority. Okay, instead of if you try to spend 15 minutes trying to convince Sam, well, here's the subluxation is this, and then when if you go into all that, it's got to be quite quick and fast and high energy with Sam, because you have to lead this. So when there's a subluxation in the spine, it's going to interfere with these messages. You can see all these messages travel from the brain to all these different parts of the body. When that spine is subluxated, that's going to put a child or an adult or anyone into a stress response, right? Have you heard of the fight or flight response, Sam? Right? Yeah, of course you have. That's when the body's in a survival state. And here's the thing: we can't be in survival and the other side, which is resting, healing, and digesting at the same time, right? And so many children, many adults are actually stuck in fight or flight. And so what we're going to do today, here's the technology we're going to use, or here's the scans we're going to do, or here's we're going to take some x-rays. You lead the way. You say, this is what we're going to do. This is what we use to find a subluxation and to determine the degree of nervous system interference. And here's what happens when we address that. When we start to remove that interference, what do you think we start to see? Right? So when we remove interference to that system, which is designed to control all functions of the body, we start to see amazing results, right? And so that's why so many people come to our office, and that's why we get the results that we do here. So high energy, you lead the way, you give them a very mini, fast explanation, because look, if he didn't come to your workshop, or if he's, not going to, a specialist would never try to convince someone that they need them, right? So you assume it, and you talk about, that's why we get the results here in our office. You go back and lean on your results, okay? That's Skeptical Sam. So when it comes to the GBC group, these people are going to be different. Okay, some of them are similar. There's some crossovers, right? Because all three, the GBC, the NDD, the MHM, they all intertwine, right? They're just speaking to different people who identify with different challenges. So the GBC, the first person is Give It a Shot Sharon. Okay, Give It a Shot Sharon is well educated. She probably raised her hand when you said, how many of you have heard of, right? How many of you, what is the microbiome? How many of you heard that? So she knows the answers to these different questions because she's been doing research, right? She's been having some autoimmune challenges, maybe some gut issues, maybe some anxiety. It's in the, if we think of it as a continuum, she has been dealing with this probably for somewhere between 2 to 5 years. Okay. She still has enough energy where she's still positive. She's like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot. Like, I want to see, I want to find out. That's the kind of energy Give It a Shot Sharon brings. So Give It a Shot Sharon's cool. Like we like Give It a Shot Sharon. We want to talk to her in a way like, hey, Sharon, hey, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I can't wait to take a look at your scans. I can't wait to see what your x-rays show. I can't wait to, like, that's the type of energy you want. I can't wait to, because she can't. She's been waiting a long time, right? Now she found a doctor who, this is a missing piece potentially. Like, I've looked at all these other things. I've been researching. I've been looking into the gut side of things. But wait, this is a different doctor talking about the nervous system, the vagus nerve, and so I can't wait to see what we find. Right? This is the type of energy we want with Sharon. We want to keep that momentum going, just like with Hopeful Hannah in the NDD group. We want to keep the momentum going with Give It a Shot Sharon. Now, this person is Hopeless Harriet, okay? This person was sometimes Give It a Shot Sharon, not always. Hopeless Harriet has typically been dealing with chronic autoimmune issues for quite a while. Her energy is low. She's been to many specialists. She doesn't have much hope. Her energy is low, all right? So we're not going to come at her like, oh, hey, welcome, Hopeless Harriet. We're so glad you're here. That's not the energy. With Harriet, it's going to be empathy. It's going to be bringing your tone down. Hey, she's going to be talking like this. It's like, yeah, I've seen so many doctors. I'm just so tired of this. This is her voice, right? So, Harriet, here's the thing. So many people just like you have been exactly where you're sitting. Okay, and here's what I know. Okay, I don't know exactly what the results are going to be for you, Harriet, but I do know this, right? That's where we go to the certainty, right? What we were talking about earlier. You have to be the rock for Hopeless Harriet because she has no rock and she has no certainty. So you give her that certainty, you lead her, you empathize with her. Her body language, her body language is going to be more closed. So your body language should also be more, it shouldn't be forward. It should be back more here, more, your eyes should be more soft. There should be a lot more head nodding. And so she's feeling understood too, okay? So that's Hopeless Harriet. Again, we're going to talk about how we communicate with Hopeless Harriet in day 2 in just a second. On day 1 with Hopeless Harriet, I'll just go a little bit further. It's the whole process, not just in the consultation room, but on the scans or on the x-rays. Let her know. So, here's what we're looking at. This makes no wonder you're feeling this way, right? No wonder you've been having these challenges, right? That's where the certainty comes in and gives her some hope. Okay, so based upon your scans, based upon your x-rays, it's no wonder you're experiencing this. And so here's the thing. Here's what we need to do next, right? That's where you lead. It's all about the next step. Here's what we need to do next. We need to go actually check your spine and see what's going on. Because here's what I know. Your scans, your x-rays, they are absolutely showing high levels of interference. Okay, here's what I don't know. I don't know exactly where you're subluxated or to what degree yet. That I'll know more when we actually check your spine. So let's go out and let's go get started. All right, you lead her. After the adjustment, if you do an adjustment the first visit, if you don't do the adjustment the first visit, that's up to you. But you are leading with hope. Harriet, here's the thing. We found some great information today. Information that tells me, I have no doubt that we can help you in this office. We've helped so many people just like you with these challenges. So here's what we're going to do. Okay, remember, you got to use a lot of leading language. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go walk up to the front. We're going to schedule an appointment with Jessica there, and we're going to get you scheduled for your next visit where we're going to go over your scans again briefly. We're going to see how you did after this first adjustment, and then we're going to talk about a course of action for correction so we can help you get back on track and get you the life and health you deserve. How's that sound? Right? That's the type of leadership that they need, okay? Listen to, when you listen to the replay, go back, listen to that multiple times, okay? Because that's what these people need. The next GBC person, this is a GBC spouse. This is Supportive Sal. Supportive Sal is awesome. Supportive Sal is there to support his spouse. The GBC patient adult is usually a female. Okay, now most of the new patients in chiropractic offices are typically female unless they're musculoskeletal or the whole family's getting checked. And here's the other thing, as a marketing perspective, we are doing ads primarily to women, right? Because guys typically are not looking for these solutions, right? So it's not that we can't have the roles can't be switched, right? But this is who you'll typically see. Supportive Sal has been supporting his spouse who has had chronic challenges, trying to help her at every turn. And he just wants her to be well. And now in this case, she may not even really be so sure. Maybe she's feeling bad because so much money and funds have gone towards her care, right? Or it's been a burden on the family in so many different ways, financially, emotionally, relationship. But supportive Sal is still there. He's sitting next to her, and he's there just kind of listening and happy and jovial. This is supportive Sal. So Sal, you want to compliment for being there, just like great dad Dave. And also, when it comes to the reported findings, we'll talk a little bit more about that, because remember, supportive Sal's spouse may try to back away from care out of concerns of being a burden to the family. Now, here's the counterpart to supportive Sal. You got reluctant Ralph. Reluctant Ralph is, typically he's not very supportive. He's looking at it more from the financial side. He's maybe not even believing how much pain or dysfunction, especially if they're talking about chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, autoimmune issues, may not be really believing his spouse so much that they have this problem, or certainly that chiropractic can help. So reluctant Ralph may or may not have come to a workshop. He's going to be more kind of like Skeptical Sam in some ways, but not as bad as Skeptical Sam. Reluctant Ralph is just, you don't have to be you don't want to be forceful with Reluctant Ralph. Being more forceful with Reluctant Ralph will push him away. He'll be more resistant and resent that you're treated that way. So instead, with Reluctant Ralph, is that, hey Ralph, how's it going? And just tell me, what did Lucy tell you about the workshop, or tell me, what do you know about chiropractic? Cool, yeah, totally understand. So here's what we do here. The tone is not as firm and as fast and quick as with Skeptical Sam. It's more, it's more of a minimizing tone. It's a softer tone with Reluctant Ralph. Now here's a GBC parent. They bring a child in. Now this GBC parent could easily have been an NDD parent, but they came to your GBC class because there's a lot of crossover, right? And this person, this is everything and anything Aaron. Okay, this mom is willing to do everything and anything for their child. They've been researching more. This is why they're at a GBC class, because they've been looking into this more. They're more educated on the topics. They typically have the financial reserves and capacity to pay for any of their care. They're looking for solutions for their child who may have an NDD issue or a mental, anxiety, depression issue. Anything Aaron also is working really hard and quite likely is exhausted, and also may have borderline autoimmune issues as well. Stress, and now she's pathetic. So she's still hopeful, positive. She's kind of reserved in her demeanor. So you don't want to lead with a ton of energy with this person, like with Hopeful Hannah. Everything and anything Aaron is more, you're going to be more reserved, a little bit more professional in your demeanor and your how you communicate with her. But she's typically all in. Okay. The next group is, now we're getting to the MHM group. Okay. This is an MHM adult patient. This is down and drab Debbie. Okay. Now, this is a challenge of doing the MHM, is that you're going to attract people with depression and anxiety, right? Now, I assume you're doing it because you have a moral urge to help these people, right? So then we really need to learn how to communicate with these people to help them feel safe and comfortable, right? And also help them get out of that depression and feel hopeful and pull them along. Okay, this is what we need to do for these people. So down and drab Debbie is very down. Right, she's very depressed. She's she's not really looking at you. Her eyes are off to this. She's just kind of sad and depressed, and this is her energy. She's kind of she's kind of skeptical. She's not sure about things. So with down and drab Debbie, I mean, we need to pick her up. Okay, say, hey Debbie, this is your tone comes down, right? Hey Debbie, so glad you're here today. Let's come on back. Let's go sit down and let's chat and talk about what's been going on, right? Here I said let's sit down and let's chat, right? It is more about her being heard and you in terms of where you're sitting, your body position, instead of like directly right in front of her. I would encourage more of a side sitting position. So she's off to the side a little bit, and you're giving more of a shoulder, not in a bad way, but just more so your energy is not too big for her. When it comes to these, with this type of person, lots of empathy. Hey Debbie, I can only imagine how tough it's been. Okay. Now, if you have a personal story or personal relationship with depression and either yourself or a family member, then definitely rely on that and bring that up. Or your personal connection to why you want to help people with these challenges. Bring that out. I can hey Debbie, I can certainly relate. And I can tell you this, I'm committed 100% to finding out today if subluxation, if nervous system interference is contributing to the way you're feeling, okay? And I know based upon experience and based upon everything we shared in the workshop, right? This is where you go back many times for people like this who are more they're not sure, you go back to the workshop, right? Because that's when they decided to make the appointment. You go back. Based upon that information we shared in the workshop and based upon the results we've seen for so many people, or if maybe you haven't seen the results yet in those types of cases, and based upon the results that chiropractors have seen throughout our over 100-year history. Remember we talked about how there's a rich history in chiropractic regarding mental health, anxiety, depression. I know that there's so much hope and potential for you. Right? These are the type of words that we want to use for these people on day one. And then showing again on the scans or the x-rays, keep linking touch and tell when you're feeling that atlas that's massively subluxated. No wonder you're feeling this way, right? Your atlas is massively subluxated, right? This has been affecting you. And guys, I don't know about you, I've been in practice 18 years, but I can tell by feeling the spine how long the subluxation's been there. How many of you can relate? You feel that sometimes it's like a dimmer switch, and there's just slightly off. Other times there's a massive structural component and the associated myofascial components, and you can just get that sense. Let people know when you feel those things too. It's like, oh my gosh, man, this has been here a long time. Empathize with them, let them know, and let them have an understanding of why they've been feeling this way for so long, right? So that's down and drab Debbie. The next type of MHM adult patient is timid Tanya. Timid Tanya has not as much anxiety, it's more depression. She looks like an injured mouse. Her eyes are looking around. Her hand, she's sitting there. She walks into the office. She's looking around. She's not sure if she's in the right place or it's safe. This is where you and or your staff, right, you need to train with them on this. These people, They need to feel safe ASAP. This is like a child a child with autism who needs to feel they're safe right away, right? So, hey Tanya, welcome. So they got to feel welcome. Hey, we're so glad you're here. Come on over, right? Making yourself small body language. Come on over. And it's very comforting type of tone and voice and body language. Here, come on over. See, you can. Here, let me give you a tour. Like you should be giving everyone a tour, but especially with Tim and Tanya, making sure she feels comfortable and not putting her into a really high stress environment. Like if it's super stressful in one part of your office, maybe take her back right away to an exam room or somewhere else where she'll feel more comfortable. When you're doing the first visit consult with her, it's going to be really, again, low tone. Hey, Tanya, so glad you're here today. Hey, I'm so glad you're here. This is, I know it's not easy, being out in public sometimes when you're having these types of challenges. I went through your intake forms, and I got to tell you, based upon what I'm seeing, I feel like I can really help you. Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you some more questions. We're gonna go through the test. Remember, with this person, anxiety, the key to helping people with anxiety is helping them know what's next. Okay. So, right after this, we're going to do the scans we talked about in the workshop, which they're quick, easy. They won't take long at all. Right? Quick, easy, and then we're going to go over those together. And then right after that, then we'll go outside. We'll actually check and adjust your spine. And then after that, so it's all about letting them know what's next to ease their concern and ease their anxiety. Okay. So that's Tim and Tanya. Now this is a parent and child. This is wits end Wanda and pissed off Paul. Okay. This mom is at her wit's end. Okay, her child, Paul, probably a teenager or preteen, probably really either depressed, angry, ADHD, not felt understood. He's pissed off that he's even at the office because he's like been dragged to different providers. He's probably been on all kinds of medications, or maybe he's on medications now. Wanda's at her wit's end. She's been dealing with this for years, and she just wants help. She's struggling. So don't judge Wanda at all. She needs to feel, even if you see parenting behaviors that you would, that aren't ideal. Okay, guys, these people have been struggling for decades, many times. Okay, you need to be the safe place for these parents. Okay, and so we do that we do it by showing compassion for Wanda. And then with Paul, here's how you deal with Paul. Okay. This is my ninja strategy for dealing with Paul. Paul's pissed off. He doesn't want to be there. Like, think about if you were a teenager and your parent was dragging you places and you didn't want to be there, and they think that you're the problem and you think they're the problem. And now you're some doctor who's just going to verify that they're the problem. Right. So you want to be aloof with pissed off Paul. Hey, what's up, Paul? And talking in that type of language, right? Hey, what's up, Paul? How's it going? You're not even, sometimes if he's, Paul might be like against the wall or sitting, sulking in a chair. I might come and sit down next to him. Hey, what's up, dude? Like, how's it going today? And they say, yeah. I say, I bet, I say, hey, what did your mom tell you about this place? Like, I'm curious. Like, and then they'll tell you, I don't know. So I just sort of had to come. And I say, that must suck, huh? Right? You want to relate with him. You want to and agree with him. Really try your best to relate and be aloof. Like, you don't really, yeah, well, hey, here's the thing. I don't know what your mom told you about this place, but here's what we do here. Have you heard much about chiropractors? You know what we do? Yeah. He's like, oh no, like your spine, something. I said, yeah, we check the spine. You know why? Like, hey, check this out. Like, just be real aloof and like, hey, come here. Like, minimizing tone. Like, it's not a big deal. So yeah, here's the spine. oh, here's the brain, here's your spinal cord, all the messages travel through here, go all parts of your body. So here's what we do. We check the spine, we're looking for interference. We're not trying to fix anybody here. In fact, I don't think anybody's broken. What I'm doing is looking for something called a subluxation. It's a misalignment, and when that happens, it can interfere with our health and lives. So, and we do it this way. We look at these scans over here. How's that sound? Right? So it's a totally different energy with pissed off Paul. And you want to try to get some separation between pissed off Paul and what's in Wanda. Let her kind of be, she needs a break anyways. So and the last thing you want is to bring what's in Wanda into the room with pissed off Paul and have her start to unload on everything wrong with pissed off Paul. Okay. In fact, beforehand, it's good to, when what's in Wanda comes in, say, hey, I'm gonna chat with Paul here. I want to get to know him and chat. I've already gone through the intake form, so I have a good idea what's going on. We already talked at the workshop too. So I want to talk with Paul and see what's going on. And I think this will really help him feel most comfortable to get the best results with today's visit. Okay. So you let her know, and she's going to be totally fine with that. And then, and maybe even let her know, say, hey, the last thing I want to do is talk about what's wrong with Paul in front of him. And you should already, if you talk to what's in Wanda at the workshop or in the email or phone call before, you want to let her know and say, hey, let's make sure we don't talk about Paul in front of him, because that will really turn him off. So on this visit, it's going to be all about just checking his spine, see what's going on. And in fact, a great way to get, what's in Wanda needs to be under care as well, right? So at the workshop, and, when say, and here's the thing, because she might be telling you, I don't know how I'm going to get pissed off Paul into the office. He's always pissed off, right? I don't know how I'm going to say, well, here's what I found to work really well. These children, they feel like, like they're the problem, or everyone thinks they're the problem. And so here's the thing. I don't think he's the problem. In fact, as I mentioned, I don't diagnose and treat anything. What I'm looking for is see if there's interference in his nervous system, allow him to express better health and life potential. And here's the thing. Who doesn't need that? In fact, you probably need that just as much or more than Paul, right? So what I found in making it is, we don't want to make it about Paul. Let's make it about doing something healthy for our bodies. Let them know, say, hey, I went to this work. This is how you coach your parents beforehand. So let them just say, hey, I went to this office. I went to this workshop, and the doctor was talking about the spine and the nervous system, and I've never even thought about that. We go to the dentist to get our teeth checked. Well, turns out it's pretty important to have our spine and nervous system checked. So I went ahead and scheduled an appointment for you and me, or for the whole family. Now, she may not be ready or willing to do that, but guys, that's where you capitalize. This is so how do you think I'm able to schedule 25 people? That's my record, 25 people out of 20 at a workshop, right? It's through these ninja strategies, okay? So I'm glad we're bringing these to you tonight so that you can adopt these as your own. So that pissed off Paul. Now, this is now Desperate Donna and Compliant Carla. Desperate Donna is, she's been looking for anything and everything to help her child with anxiety and depression. This poor child is, they just want to be well too. Like, they don't understand why they're feeling this way, and their energy is really low. They're sweet and they're loving, and they're not really pissed off. They're compliant, and this is their energy right here. Very meek and tender, and you want to support these people. Desperate Dawn is looking for anything, and she's just ready to, oh please, I just hope this will work so much. And this is the energy of Desperate Dawn and Compliant Carla. So with them, when they come in, it's smaller energy to meet Compliant Carla's energy. It's like, hey, Carla, welcome. We're so glad you're here. Hey, come on back. Let me give you a tour. Hey, what'd your mom tell you about our office? Right? So, and then you let her know what you do. Yeah, here's what we do here. And so this is very easy. But the way we mess this up is by being overbearing, being our energy too high, by trying to explain too much, and instead of just reaffirming and giving hope and helping Compliant Carla understand, hey, does that make sense if you've been living in fight or flight for so long, why you might be feeling anxious, right? Yeah, so sometimes what I always share with people, I don't think there's anything wrong with you. right? In fact, I think you're perfect the way you are. And so what we're going to do is not try to figure out what's wrong with you today. We're going to look for how to improve more of what's right. We're going to look to see if your nervous system is functioning properly. And we're going to look to, and I know how to remove interference to that system to allow your body to be functioning at its highest level possible. How's that sound? That's the language, that's the tone, that's the energy you want for this family. Now this is epilepsy parent. Okay, it says MHM here. So pretty soon I'm going to be releasing my epilepsy workshop, so you guys can use that as well. Now here's the thing with the epilepsy workshop, and I mentioned this with Jason on the phone the other day, is there aren't as many people that are impacted by epilepsy, so attendance at these will be smaller. I traditionally have done this workshop maybe once a quarter, once every 6 months. The great thing with this workshop is connecting with the epilepsy societies in your area. That's how I've spoken at the Epilepsy Awareness Day conference 2 years in a row. People coming to us from all over, from different states for that type of care. Now here's the thing. Now this is I want you guys to start thinking beyond the one patient at a time. When you get the results with epilepsy cases that chiropractic can get, one, it accelerates your certainty in every single case. It will accelerate your communication, and it will accelerate your referrals and your social credibility and authority in your community, right? Who doesn't want that? Now, some people might look at it, okay, well, I did ask for the workshop, but it only got me one patient, right? This is a long-term strategy with something like this. This is to position you in a place where I'm at, where I'm now getting ready to start, we have the 2 practices, we're getting ready to start the 3rd by the end of the year, and then, 20 by 5 years from now. So that's what, I'm not saying I want you to have 20 practices, but I want you to be at a place where you are getting that type of notoriety and results, because that will absolutely skyrocket your practice. Miracle Mary, she's looking for a miracle, right? She needs a miracle because her child is having 20 seizures a day. Now, you might feel anxious right now, okay? You might feel nervous. That's very normal if you've not seen a lot of these cases, okay? However, at what point do you decide that Miracle Mary deserves the miracle that you can provide? That's when you go from good to great, guys. When you decide that Miracle Mary needs you and deserves you, and you have the skill set necessary to help her, okay? And guys, with Miracle Mary, we're not promising results. Here's how we communicate with Miracle Mary. Hey, Mary, here's the thing. I don't know exactly what the results are going to be. Now, you're going to hear me say this over and over and over, guys, because this is gold right here. I don't know exactly what the results were going to be. In fact, no doctor could possibly tell you what's going to happen as they begin care. Right? Notice I don't say treatment. Remember, every time you guys use the word treatment, I encourage you to do push-ups, do whatever it is, because your care is not treatment. Okay, use the word care, because treatment implies you're treating the epilepsy. No doctor could possibly know that, but here's what I do know. I know this. I know that if we find a subluxation in Isaac's upper neck, I know that that when we are subluxated, that can potentially interfere with the blood flow and cerebrospinal fluid flow, and interfere with those delicate nerve fibers that travel from the brain down to the rest of the body. I know that when we find that means that his body can't possibly be functioning at its best, and it's going to negatively impact the brain. And I also know this, that when we begin to start to correct those subluxations and remove that interference, that his body's going to start to work better, start to restore and rebuild itself, and produce sometimes miraculous results, like many of the other families that we've seen before. Now, see, that's where, once you see those cases, right, that's where that next statement, that really takes you, to over the edge in terms of and I'm not promising the results, but I'm telling people what results we have had, which is why I have so much certainty. So find the certainty in chiropractic, guys. Chiropractic has been helping people with seizures for over 100 years. right? The only reason we're not helping massive numbers of people with seizures is because we're not inviting them into our offices, because we're not telling them that they need us and that every single individual should be checked for subluxation, especially people with seizures and other major issues going on. So that's Miracle Mary, okay? This is the no-show spouse. We kind of talked about this guy in Skeptical Sam, but this might just, here's the thing with the spouse, you don't know exactly who they are. They could be clueless, just totally clueless, or they could be careless Carl, okay? He might care less, he might be a jerk, he might be that Skeptical Sam. So you just need to find out. This is all about discovery. Say, hey, tell me, so what did Mary tell you about the workshop the other day? You might say, oh yeah, it makes total sense. I used to I love chiropractors. I went to a chiropractor in high school for my football injuries. Or, oh yeah, cool. Now don't leave it there, right? If he said football injuries, because he's thinking musculoskeletal. So you say, yeah, that's cool. In fact, so many athletes have really benefited from chiropractic, right? That's why every Olympic team has a team chiropractor, and all the football teams and pro team, baseball teams all have team chiropractors. Well, here's the thing that most people didn't realize is that chiropractic actually is all about your nervous system, and not just the back pain and injuries and sports performance, but actually, and then you go into what it really is, right? Just so don't leave those potential objections or misperceptions laying out in the open, okay? You need to gently make sure you solidify your point that you want to be made there. So that's the no-show spouse. So that took us through all the different workshop archetypes. Okay, I hope that's been helpful so far. I'm going to print those out for you guys, or I'll put it on a sheet so you guys can kind of look at it and think about before when that person is coming in, where do they fit on this so that you can best know how to communicate with them. Let's talk about these other people. These are referral new patients. This is Walk on Water William. William thinks that you walk on water because someone told him that it meant you walk on water. In fact, there was a cat that got hit by a car and it was dying, or maybe it was dead, and you adjusted it and it came back to life, right? This is what Walk on Water William thinks of you. He's like, they're ready to get started, right? With all the referral people, the key thing, guys, always, say, oh, cool. Say, oh, Fred referred you? Oh, Fred is awesome, right? We love Fred. We know you're going to love it here too. Fred loves this office. He's been coming here for X amount. Oh, you're going to absolutely love it here as well, William, right? That's how you, and then you go into, you just assume, you're assuming everything's going to be going forward, and you're not looking back at all. Like this person, you need to keep going, and never stop that whole visit. Okay, very high energy, taking them all the way, very friendly, cordial. The rapport's built in. You want to build it a little bit more through the relationship with the referee, right? So that's Walk on Water William. Now, you might have Not Sure Susan. And Not Sure Susan was referred by a friend who, maybe a friend of a friend, or maybe her, an NDD parent who came to a workshop was telling Not Sure Susan about you at their ABA center or at the preschool, and she's like, she's not so sure. She didn't go to a workshop or webinar, all these things, right? So Not Sure Susan, there's a couple things you can do with that. You can, beforehand, you can send them a recording of one of your webinars, right? That's actually a really good idea. Say, to send it in an email with the intake forms. Ask them to watch that before they come in. But you also want to really find out more about, so what did Melissa tell you about our office? Oh, cool. So she told you, and then talk about the results. You don't know totally what she said. Oh, so she told you about Johnny, like how Johnny's speaking now. Should she also tell you we see improvements in blank, blankety blank, and we see you need to build up she probably told you about this, right? You are just assuming she told her about those things, but you're telling her about those things, all right? So Not Sure Susan, you are building yourself up through the person who referred them indirectly, okay? But this is how you want to handle this person. You also really want to discover what type of objections what level of understanding, how deeply you need to go into explaining. Do you need to explain some more first? Are they ready to go? Or oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So tell me more about that. Or is this a person like Hopeful Hannah, where you can just like keep going, right? So Not Sure Susan, you really gotta find out where they're at. Now this is now the Google or Yelp or other musculoskeletal leads, like from if you're doing Facebook ads with somebody else or generating leads that are more musculoskeletal based, okay? Which personally, I'm not a fan of Google, Yelp. In fact, I do no advertising for my office outside of workshops and webinars because I want highly qualified new patients. I don't want people like Flippant Phil. Flippant Phil is many times wasting your time, and he's pretty much a jerk. Not always. Flippant Phil's going to be kind of like, he's not going to be very respectful. He's going to be, just looking at his watch and not understanding your authority status and the bigness of what you do in your office and the potential for it. Now, I'm not saying we cast him off, okay? We want to give Flippant Phil a chance. The last thing you want to do is try to meet Flippant Phil's wants for what he wants you to be. You don't want Flippant Phil's in your office because they will detract from and take away from the energy and the experience of the patients, your true ideal patients, the ones who really value you. And they will cause tons of problems for your staff and for your own emotional energy and your joy in practice. Okay, so you don't want to instead with Flippant Phil, you should first have a very strong pre-qualification process on the phone, okay, to see if it's a good fit. If it's not a good fit, guys, please get to the point where you can refer these people to an office where it would be a good fit, okay, and let them know. So tell me, how'd you hear about the office? Oh, cool. So, through Google. Cool. A lot of people find us through Google. Now, a lot of people don't find me through Google, but that's what I'll say so we're in agreement. And so, a lot of people find us through Google. So did you see our reviews about how we help children with autism, epilepsy, really chronic cases, things like that? So tell me, like, what's going on with you? Oh, my low back is hurting. Can you get me in today? Or if they say, yeah, well, how much is it? I'm just trying to find out, these are typically not good signs. And so you want to ask some more questions. Oh, but we don't have an appointment today. Or, if you do, or if you bend and you try to get that person in right away, think about what it tells them about you and your value, right? You become a commodity, right? Where now they can get in whenever they want and they can dictate the process, right? Now, if this is someone hey, oh man, I can't move. I'm in horrible pain. I just really need some help. If I can fit that person in, by all means, do it. If it's someone who's had low back pain tell me, how long have you had the problem? Oh yeah, it's been going on for a couple of years. And so, don't bend to get that person in right away. Make them go through that red velvet rope. So, we have an appointment on, let's see, we have an appointment, say it's Monday. We have an appointment on Thursday, and we have a 9 a.m. or a 3 p.m., which will work best for you. That's after you've already gone through the costs and everything, right? Because you want to pre-qualify. You don't want to get people in there who aren't ready, who balking at your fees. What I recommend, if you're getting people balking at the first visit exam fee, is to go into transitional sales, right, and invite them to a workshop instead. So let's imagine Flippant Phil is there, though. He's already come in. He's kind of flippant, and you are, with this person. Hey Phil. So tell me, tell me why this office? Because I want to make sure this is a good fit for you. Okay? This is where you start to pull back. Okay, you need to start pulling back from this person. I'm going to be like this. I'm going to be, so tell me, hey, so what's going on? Why our office? And Flippant Phil, yeah, you're close. Oh, that's cool. So so in this office, we see really challenging cases. In fact, we see a ton of kids here. We see kids with autism, epilepsy. We see adults with really chronic conditions. And so I just want to make sure this is a good fit for you. And just really try that. Like, I can't stress that enough, how much you want to pull that back, because here's the other thing. You're going to do your scans, x-rays, and you're explaining it. Flip and Phil is going to be kind of skeptical sometimes and like looking like this and like, not really giving you the trust and credibility that you deserve. And so that's where, again, you want to pull back. He's going to be like, well, like, and so here's the thing, Phil. Remember I told you the types of people we serve here in this office? Here's the thing, if we're able to help people with X, Y, and Z, I'm pretty certain that we're going to be able to help you with your back pain. Okay. At this point, like, this is where I'm going to let him know, just like, you have to claim specialist status and authority status, and you are pulling back, right? Make sure it's a good fit, right? I'm pretty sure we can help you. Like, it's not that you're minimizing his problem, but you are minimizing his objections by showing him, like, dude, I got you, right? So that's how we handle Flip and Phil. Sure, surely. Okay, sure, surely is going to say things like, oh, sure, that sounds great. Yeah, absolutely. She's got to be in agreement with you the whole time in her head, or not in her head. Verbally, she's going to be in agreement. Inwardly, she's going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to be here for 2 visits, and then I'm going to be gone, and whatever. I'm just going to agree with him, this doctor right now. Like that, she's going to be, yeah, sure, totally, yeah. You're going to think, oh, cool, this person's totally on board, and then you do the maybe she doesn't even come for day 2, or you do day 2 and she's like not so sure. No, I don't want to do a care plan. Can I just come, as I feel like, that's sure, surely. You just need to say, hey, that's not how we do things here in this office. I know an office that could help you, and we're happy to recommend that for you. So that's how you handle that person. Now, the last one is perfect fit, Francine. And this person just happens to find you, and it is a good fit. It's like one of these match made in heaven. It's a soul connection thing. This person's great. Like, you're telling them more about your practice, and they're like, oh, this is great. I love this place. This place is amazing, right? And it really is a good fit. So this person, you just go forward, and they're going to be yes the whole way. So that's day 1, guys. We haven't gotten into day 2. And we're going to keep going because this is important. So into day 1, set expectations. It's critical that you set the expectations through your words and body language. You're foreshadowing throughout the process. I mean, you're talking about, people in this office, the ones that are getting the best results. You're saying things like that, where you're saying, when you're going over scans, on the, every 14 visits when we do progress exams, here's what I expect to see. Like, you're foreshadowing, you're assuming, you're acting as if they're already going to do the things that you're assuming they've already started, they've already accepted a care plan. You're foreshadowing that. This is how you're talking with these people. And the keys are you're easing objections and you're being the rock, right? These are the key principles of day 1. Day 2, and just the last thing on day 1, you're leading at the end. You're taking them to the front desk. You say, so Mary, so here's what we're going to do next. Okay, we're going to go up to the front after this. We're going to schedule that next appointment in 2 days or whatever it is. So that way we can go over your results. We're going to talk more about that briefly, and we're going to talk about a course of action for correction to help you get the results that you're looking for. Right? That's how we handle, the end of day 1. Now, day 2 is again about being prepared. Right? You took all that information from day 1. You know who this person is. You figured out their objections. You figured out who they are. Now you know who you're going to talk to. So you know what do they need to hear. How you're thinking about how did that first visit go? What do they need to say yes? And you're ready to lead this person at this point. That day 2 process. This is where many of you are missing people and losing people. they're already ready to say yes, guys. I can't stress that enough. They've been to a workshop. If they've been to a workshop, they are so ready to say yes. If they're saying no to you, it's because you've lost them somewhere. You've lost them in their trust and credibility area. You've lost them in the rapport area, or you've lost them in the financial area, not because it's too expensive, but because you complicated the matter. Okay, you made it more difficult and you created psychological barriers. Okay, so here's the thing. Highly recommend you go with the care plans I recommend. Not the number of visits and the cost and everything, but utilizing a simple method using a tablet. Okay, Nicole Meyer posted this again today. I mentioned it about how she scrapped her paperwork. Guys, if you like, I'm going to do this for you because I'm here to support you. Send me what you're using so I can take a look. You're probably using what other people have been using for many, many years in chiropractic from the 1980s. Most likely, your care plans look like timeshare presentation paperwork. Okay, if it's on paper, if it's all written out and scribbled on, if there's multiple oh, you get this amount off if you do the prepay or you do all these things, guys, you're losing specialist status. A specialist does not need to do those things. So you're losing your credibility. Everything we work so hard to create for you and you to create for yourself, you're losing those things by having paperwork that doesn't reflect the experience and the value and who you are. Okay, so having a tablet is very professional. Having just very simple option A, option B. Okay, and being okay if they accept option A or option B. Now, I've already gone into this in depth in the November training, November 2019 training. Go back to that video, rewatch that, watch all the care plan recommendations and how we do that. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Removing psychological barriers. Here's what I think many of you are doing. You're putting these big numbers at the top. If you look at this, look at the psychologically. The best program, the restorative care program, the one that is the most visit, that costs the most, and is for moderate to severe problems, which is going to be the majority of people, is in green. Green is good. I didn't go with red here because red means bad. I went with orange. Right? It's not as good. Yellow is like, okay, well, what's going on here? Like, oh, this is where it tells more about our policy. I don't read this to them. I said, so when we get to that point, guys, people are getting the best results typically are coming in X amount of week. We go through all that. I'm not going to go in that right now. That's all in that November training. Go back and watch that. But what many of you are doing, you're putting that big number, the total cost, like, right? See, my total cost is right here. That's the discounted care plan total. It's minimized. It's small. It's over to the left. People's eyes go left to right. This is what they see. 76 visits. They see this. I don't even talk about this. I don't talk about, oh, that's a 90% savings. It's there. It's not in bold. I don't mention it ever. I mentioned the savings in, say, when on this care plan. See, the difference between the care plans is this one is there is a discount on this care plan in terms of the cost per visit. This one, normally our per visit fee is $77 per visit. However, when you're on a care plan, this particular care plan brings it down to $67. And this one is, 67, and this one is at 72. So that's how we handle that aspect of things. So please send me your care plans if you want me to review them, and I'll give you my input on them, and highly recommend you go with something like that. So now we're going to go into how we communicate the care plans with these people. Okay, these different archetypes. Hopeful Hannah, it's, she's hopeful. She's come back from day one. Day one went great. Now it's all about, going over the scans quickly. So for the families that are getting the best results, typically are going with one of two care plans. Okay, now for Johnny here, the optimal would be this care plan here. Now this other care plan would be great too. However, the difference will be that just take to see the results that we all want to see. It's going to take longer, just like going to the gym. However, this care plan would be great. Which care plan, based upon time, distance, finances, all those different factors, makes most sense for you? right? Simple. That's it. That's all I do, right? You don't need to go through, let's make a deal, all these things, and then you just hold the tablet, and then let them choose. Simple, guys. Try it. Lukewarm Lucy, this person, she was lukewarm. You gotta kind of figure out, okay, where is she? Is she all in? You may need, as you're explaining the scans, you're watching body language, you're watching her eyes, those types of things. How much does she believe in you? How much, all these different factors. If she's all in now, she's more like hopeful Hannah, then you go forward. If she giving you any objections, say, does that make sense? You're looking for agreement. And if you find any objections, just in the energy, you might have to go a little bit deeper with lukewarm Lucy. Say, hey, Lucy, listen, so many parents have been exactly where you're at, okay? Where, they just weren't sure, what the next step was. I can tell you this, those parents that were in your same shoes, the ones that decided to go forward with care, that decided to take that leap and see what would happen, here's what they typically find. By that first progress exam, right? That's where you go back to the first progress exam and you rely on that. You go, but by that first progress exam, not only are we seeing the changes on the scans, but we're also, they're seeing their child is more X, more Y, more Z, right? The things that they're looking for, right? That's how you need to go deeper. You can't just go to the easy route would be to just go to the care plans. However, if you do that before really having that tough love moment and communication moment with Lucy, then she's just going to say, I think I need to talk to my husband about it. That's what's going to happen there. We're ready, Rebecca and great Dad Dave. That's like Hannah. You just, guys, don't mess it up. Go forward, quick, go through the scans, go through the results, give them the options. That's it, okay? Skeptical Sam, you might need, just like with lukewarm Lucy, by this time, Skeptical Sam probably has changed his tune once he's seen scans and he's seen the first visits and the adjustment on the first visit. If you did it, he's likely changed his tune. If he hasn't, you need to hit Sam hard, and say, hey, Sam, here's the thing. We've been able to have so many kids just like Johnny here. And here's what I know. The ones we can't help are the kids that don't get started. Okay, and so here's what I'm suggesting. What we typically see by the first, that's when you go to the progress exam. You might have to go, if Sam is really skeptical and then you might have to go with a 12-visit plan, or whatever it is to your first progress exam. So here's what I suggest. Here's what I think we should do. But, if you're getting major pushback on the plan, instead of going with any plan right now, here's what I think we should do. And you should have that scan minimum. That's one of the plans. That's one of the care plans that I have. Here's what I think we should do. We start with this, commit to at least this. We'll see where Johnny is over this next 8 weeks. And then we reevaluate. We're going to see, here's what I know. We're likely going to see big changes on his scans. We're going to see big changes in his health and life. How's that sound? Sound fair? Right? So that's where you go with that if it goes to that. Give it this is where you're going to want to continue to just run with her energy and momentum. She wants to give it a shot. She's ready, right? Unless she gives you any objections, then it's the same process, guys. This person is really pretty ready. So you don't have to, you're not going to get a lot of objections probably. Maybe she might go with the lower plan, but be fine with it. Don't be so committed to only one way or the highway. If they think there's only one way or the highway, and maybe they really can't fit that second, that plan that's not optimal into their budget, right? Who are we to stop them from being under care? Are they going to be better off with a 52 visit plan than a 76 visit plan? Right? And here's the other thing. None of these people so far, okay, these people don't object to 12-month plans. Hopeful Hannah doesn't object. Lucy doesn't object once you've covered the areas I talked about. These people certainly don't object to a 12-month plan. Skeptical Sam might. That's why I mentioned that. Give it a shot. Sharon doesn't typically. You might maybe a 6-month plan instead. Hopeless Harriet, you really need. hey, Harriet, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Like, let's go through your scans. I want to talk about it. It's like, now you need a higher energy. You need to pull her along and show her the future, what it could be. There's so many, Harriet, so many people, I'm so glad you're here. So many, here's what we found. I see some really positive. Remember we talked about in the scans? This is really positive. This means we can help, right? And so you got to give a lot of hope to hopeless Harriet. And there's a very good chance that she will get started. If you have to, you can go to the lower visit plan or to the 12 visit plan, but you likely don't need to start there. She will usually go forward. Supportive Sal's all in. I told you I'd talk about this. With Supportive Sal, the spouse might be trying to minimize her care and the need, or, maybe we shouldn't do it because I'm a burden to the family, that kind of attitude or energy. She may not say it. So you should say it. Say, if you get an objection from this spouse, say, listen, Mary, so many, I've had this encounter so many times, and some people have sat here with me, and here's what I know. I know that Sal really is here to support you. And Sal, wouldn't you agree that Mary really needs this and deserves this opportunity to find out, how we're able to help? So here's what I suggest. Let's start here. Let's start with this. Let's go forward, right? And then see where, because here's the thing, that's the type of energy that situation needs. You got to, bring Sal into it and encourage Mary, encourage the spouse. I went backwards there. Reluctant Ralph, you might have to, again, kind of with Reluctant Ralph, you just might need to be, hey, here's the thing. If we don't do anything, where do you think Karen's going to be in the next 5 years from now? Like, he's already maybe seeing where things are at. Things don't look good, right? And so you have to kind of go after his biggest fears, which are things just getting worse and worse and worse, right? So, because here's the thing, Ralph, if we do nothing, where do you think she's going to be? And so here's what I'm suggesting. We get started. This plan would be optimal. Now this plan will be great, right? We can see really fantastic results with this one. Okay, it will take longer. However, here's what we'll see. Every 14 visits, when we do progress exams, you go back to the progress exams. You keep talking about it, and you better be doing the progress exams. So GBC parent, everything and anything, Aaron, this is that person. They are ready to get started. Just again, you're more professional demeanor. Hey, Aaron, how'd it go? You tell me more about how Sam did after that first visit. Cool. Yeah, here, let's go over the scans. This is the type of tone and energy with this person. Oh yeah. Well, here's the different plans. I recommend. This is the one I recommend. That's how you. That's the type of energy you want. It's not, you don't have to be as hopeful and energetic. In fact, you don't want to be there. There it's more just kind of, here you go. This is it. Okay, let's go. Like that. Down and drop Dan. This person, we really need to lift up. Okay. Hey Dan, I'm so glad you're back here, bud. Hey, tell me, how'd you do after that first visit? Right. And guys, remember, people are going to say, oh, I didn't feel like, nothing changed. I was okay. Oh, cool. Well, hey, let's go over. Like, you don't give it any energy. Just like, oh, cool. Yeah. Like, I don't give it any energy when they say things like that. And they say, oh, yeah, I feel really sore. Say, yeah, that can happen sometimes. Remember we talked about that? Or say, yeah, that's actually a good sign. It's telling us that your body's adapting. Let's take a look at, like, don't give it much energy at all. Get into what you need to do and lead those people to the results that they need. And then you got to be high energy for this person. Say, Dan, here's what I know. I've seen so many people. Just like, this is where you go to that one-on-one, heart-to-heart empathy, leaning in moment with Dan, okay? Timid Tanya, you're not going to lean in. You're going to be more supportive, more nurturing, more this type of language. Hey, say, Tanya, here's the thing. So many people have been in the same spot you've been in, right? And so I can't tell you how many individuals we've been able to help. People that have been experiencing that say, I can't imagine how difficult it must be, but I know this. If we can gain momentum, right? If we can start to take little steps, right? And we start to build momentum in that system. We got to build, it's little steps. We're showing her how to do it, okay, then I know in the next 8 weeks, when we get to that first progress exam, you're going to be telling me. So you gotta forecast and foreshadow and see it. You got to see the vision for them. Okay, and this goes for everybody. Your vision has to be so strong that you don't see them sick and you don't see them having these challenges. This is the MHM parent and child. What's in Wanda pissed off Paul, but this time Paul's probably not pissed off. Paul probably likes you by this point. And what's in Wanda said, "Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, okay, come on over. Let's go through." Now, if they're not pissed off, you just go forward. Most likely they're ready to start. If Paul's still pissed off, then you sit like this. Hey, here's the thing, Paul. Like, look, at the end of the day, like, who's going to decide this? Is like, mom's probably going to like tell you have to come here, right? And here's the thing, like, I don't want to force you. Like, just be honest. Like, I don't want to force you to be here. But I also want to make sure that we address these things, and I know it can really help you feel better, not be able to and connect with them on what they like to do. Maybe he's a gamer. Maybe maybe he likes basketball. Maybe can tell them how chiropractic is going to help them do what they love the most. Okay, don't connect it with what the mom or dad want it to do for them. Okay, so that's how you help convert them. You might have to say, so here's it, and you want to get agreement. You don't want to have a patient like that who only has agreement with a parent. Get agreement from the actual patient. And say, how about this? You commit to just the first 8 weeks. You just commit to that, right? And to that first progress exam, okay? And get agreement that way from them. Epilepsy or Miracle Mary, it's like I said earlier, like it's about hope, it's about momentum, it's about the past results, either in your office or in other offices. It's just leading, hope in this case. The spouses, we've already covered those spouses and how to handle those people. Walk on Water William, they're going to be easy. You guys all know these people. He's going to be an easy one to move forward. Although he might not be totally cool with the length of the care plan. So you really got to go back to that November video on how we describe the corrective phase and then the supportive phase, and how we minimize the total number of visits and things like that in terms of languaging. Okay, got to watch that video again. Not sure, Susan. You want to make sure she's sure. She might be that one where she says, "Oh, can I just come in per visit?" and just as needed, tell her no. It's like, the minimum we can do, is this minimum scan package, right? Because here's the thing, there's a couple things on the line: my reputation and chiropractics, right? Because here's the last thing I want to see is that people say they went to a chiropractor and it didn't work. Well, when they didn't actually go with the principles and how chiropractic works. So if you can commit to at least that first 12 visit, 14 visit, whatever it is you guys have, that's what you need to get commitment around that. Do not invite these people into your office if they only want to use you as a glorified Tylenol. Clip and fill, same thing. You got to make sure that they are on board, and again, go back to the language used in communicating the severity of the problem, and also the why a year or 12 or 6 months or whatever it is that you're doing. Shirley, these people are all in that same category. These Google people are these Yelp people, these leads, they're going to be in that same category. You just got to find out where the objections are, handle them on the first visit. Educate and then lead them to understand it's a process, and that the corrective phases, and make it simple when you're presenting it. So here's what most people are coming to the office. You want to minimize it. Don't go deeply into the care plans. What do you think? What makes most sense for you based upon time, distance, finances, all those different factors? And then stop. All right, let them choose. If they have the objections, then you can go to the scan minimum packages, or those progress exam packages. Perfect Fit Francine is going to go with what you recommend, so you don't have to worry about that. And guys, that's it. Watch this video again. Watch it 3 times. Start to identify these archetypes. Start to practice, and dive deep into the mindset and attributes you need. Be prepared, be that detective, be the specialist. Take ownership of the value of who you are as a chiropractor and what you offer these people, and simplify your care plans. Let me know if I can help you with those. I'm here to help, guys. And thank you for watching, and thanks for the opportunity to support and serve you guys. All right. Have a good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. Good night.